This is a Willets Point Shea Stadium bound 7 express train. The next and last stop is Willets Point, Shea Stadium.
Stearns did talk about, Daniel Vogelback and his future. Said we're still discussing it. I understand the skill set he brings. Clearly, I acquired him in my previous spot, and I appreciate that. I also look how it fits into the broader scope of our team. Now, even after the 2022 season, when they won 101 games, I was still not sold on bringing Daniel Vogelback back with in all intents and purposes. I thought that he did not play a position, and I thought that that was a detriment to this team, a detriment to a roster spot. I mean, no offense to him, but I think the Mets need to move on from Daniel Vogelback and get a legitimate DH in here to protect Pete Alonso and, protect Francisco Lindor. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I get no. Daniel Vogelback's a nice guy. I got no interest in bringing him back. Zero. The Mets should no interest in bringing him back. Zero. And for everybody who got on, Buck Showalter and gave him crap for putting Vogelbach in the lineup every single day, what they didn't pay attention to or spend enough time on is that it was Billy Epler's fault, and it was Steve Cohen and that management as a whole, and their lack of funds elsewhere, their lack of really horse sense, if you will, to do anything beyond sitting and getting laid out on that Correa situation, that they didn't put other guys in the lineup. They forced Buck to have to put him in there, and then wanted him based on their analytics to put Vogelbach in there. So look, I like Daniel Vogelbach if you're telling me that you're a winning team ready to win a World Series and he's your Matt Stairs. That's basically the best he can offer. And by the way, that's what he was on the Brewers, and that's what he was in his career before he came to the Mets. That's what he is. He's a guy who plays once or twice a week, but then when you need that lefty bat in that 10th inning, when you're sitting there in the playoffs and you need that guy, when that righty reliever's on the mound who could then go into the on-deck circle with a man on and tie a game, that's the guy who can go take some swings. If, by the way, he ever swings, because all he did was take pitches anyway. So no, I at the risk of, look, I'm ready to welcome Nelly Cruz, who just retired, back to unretire before I have any business putting Vogelbach back in there. Unfortunately, I like him a lot, and if the Mets were ready to win a World Series and he was that lefty off the bench, I'm totally in. I'm all for that. If he's your Matt Franco, I'm fine with that, right? But in terms of what he was or needed to be, no, they need to be. The Mets need way better support and way better power. They need to make this easier on themselves, where it's not necessarily all about Lindor and Alonso. And by the way, that's with asking for Marte and McNeil and others who had subpar seasons to step up, with Alvarez to take another step. And oh, by the way, what are you doing at third base, where I still think, and I've said since the day he got there, Brett Beatty is kind of an extra player. I mean, he's kind of, he at best to me, he's a 7-hitter in your lineup who, continues to evolve defensively at third base and gives you a little something offensively. He's not an impact guy. Vientos, too many holes in the swing. Not an impact guy. The Mets need at least 2 or 3 bats to add to that lineup. Where are they going to get them? And then to your point, going back and funneling it back to the beginning, if they overspend on pitching, which we know they need to do, how in the world are they then going to have money to overspend on a free agent bat? There are going to be holes somewhere where they need to fill internally. And when you think about Beatty and Vientos and some of the guys they have, probably more likely internally you're trying to find fits with bats than you are with pitchers.
Look, I would have taken last season JD Martinez and his bad back.
Oh,
I wanted that.
For sure.
And yes, he proved in the Dodgers that he was good enough and even helped them get to the postseason.